Jane, thank you. Good evening. Welcome to Friday's Look North. Our top story tonight. More people are sent to prison following recent unrest which saw disturbances in Yorkshire.
The context of your offending is that it arises out of the civil unrest and disorder in many parts of the United Kingdom.
Significant sentences are handed down as police issue more images of people suspected of being involved in disorder. Also tonight, an inquest into the death of a Bradford teenager finds he had significant support from an NHS trust. And the high-flying pigeon fancier from Todmorden hoping for success in the One Loft race this weekend.
And after a windy end to the week, it's going to get warmer over the weekend. The heat builds and it will be very humid and warm by Sunday. I'll be back with all the details later in the programme.
Hello, thank you for your company. More images released of people police are looking for, more people appearing in court in Leeds and Sheffield, and more sentences handed down after the violent unrest of the past week. Today, these 5 people were imprisoned for the part they played in the unrest, including stirring up racial hatred on social media. Abby Jaola now reports from Leeds Crown Court.
28-year-old Jordan Parler from Seacroft made the Facebook post on Sunday calling for people to attack a hotel housing asylum seekers and refugees in Leeds. This was the same day as violence had erupted outside a hotel in Rotherham. He pleaded guilty to using threatening, abusive or insulting words. Leeds Crown Court heard that staff and residents were already scared because stones had been thrown at the hotel's windows, leading to increased police patrols. Police were alerted to the Facebook post by the hotel manager who had placed the hotel into lockdown. Judge Guy Curl KC said on sentencing that although Parler had not participated in the attack, there was no doubt that he was encouraging others to do so.
The overall effect of your post was to incite violence towards the building and therefore towards those within the building. It was not only the refugees and asylum seekers who were likely to be affected by your post, but also the hotel managers, the night porters, and those who worked within the hotel.
Parler will have to spend up to half of his 20-month sentence in prison before being released on licence. Earlier today, 2 other men were jailed after violence broke out following protests on Saturday. 21-year-old Samir Ali from Roundhay was sentenced to 20 months for a fray, and 31-year-old Adnan Ghafoor was sentenced to 2.5 years for a fray and breaching a suspended sentence. Both men said they were reacting to racist comments made towards them. This afternoon, 30-year-old Jordan Plain from Horsforth was sentenced to 8 months in prison for racially aggravated intentional harassment. The court was shown footage of him imitating Muslim prayer, using racist language and making racially offensive gestures towards a woman who was part of an anti-racist demonstration outside Leeds Art Gallery. She told the court she had been left feeling afraid to leave her home and fearful of violence. Abby Jaola, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Well, while it's hoped that the swift justice will have a deterrent effect, the Prime Minister warns police should continue to be on high alert for riots over the weekend. In Sheffield, justice continues to be handed down there too to some of those involved in the riots in Rotherham on Sunday, as Ollie Constable now reports.
Arrested on Wednesday, pleaded guilty on Thursday, jailed here on Friday. This is the fast-tracked justice promised following this rioting. Today, 18-year-old Kenzie Ruffley from Pontefract appeared here in the dock after pleading guilty to violent disorder. We sat in court and watched video of Ruffley shouting abuse at police outside the Holiday Inn in Manvers. He picked up debris and then started to rock a police van, as seen here on this BBC video. More CCTV played in court showed him kicking the van and trying to open the passenger door before it was driven away. The operator inside said he feared for his life. The judge said he was part of a violent mob who took part in a racist event aiming their anger towards asylum seekers who are living in the hotel. This is some of the trouble police faced on the front line. Ruffley's dad is said to have taken him to the gathering, with Judge Jeremy Richardson KC saying he had a deplorable upbringing.
Get back! Get back!
He became the first person to be jailed linked to this disorder and was sentenced to 2 years and 4 months at a young offenders institution. Jailing him, the judge said, "You were part of a violent mob and you were playing your part to the full. You have brought shame on yourself and town in which you live. You must be punished for what you did." Elsewhere, 2 more people appeared in court, taking the total number of people to go through the system to 13. Today, South Yorkshire Police released these pictures of people they want to identify as part of the violence. Dozens of people captured on CCTV and on the body-worn cameras of officers. This is Ricky Hardman, a 41-year-old from Barnsley. He admitted violent disorder at the Magistrates' Court this afternoon and will be sentenced at the Crown Court on Monday. Joseph Igo, a 20-year-old from Sheffield, denied the same charge. Both were remanded, with Mr Igo next due in court on the 20th of August. Ollie Constable, BBC Look North in Sheffield.
Thanks, Ollie. Members of a group supporting Muslim and South Asian women in South Yorkshire say they won't stop living their lives following the recent violent disorder across the country. The Doncaster organisation Healthy Her planned a picnic event which was almost cancelled due to the fear of far-right demonstrations. Despite the trouble across the region, the group say they remain defiant and united. Arzu Dutta has more.
We're all trying to, if we have to go out, go together. It is hard.
We were just a bit reluctant, shall we still go ahead, do the picnic, not do the picnic? Then we thought, why not? It's something that we want to do.
In light of recent violent disorder, British Asians living in our region say they've been reluctant to leave their homes.
When they're rioting and they're destroying the buildings and they're fighting with police, we kind of feel like, no, they're our police, they're our buildings, our streets.
Organiser Akila says although it's hard, they ultimately decided to face their fears.
Why should we be scared of being in a park, in an open space? This is my local park. We shouldn't be frightened to do stuff. We can't. The events that are happening at the minute, they can't stop us.
In the last few days, there have been attacks on hotels housing asylum seekers. Places of worship chose to close their doors after concerns about further violence, and this also impacted businesses and places of employment. Event organisers told the police they were going ahead and asked them to patrol the area. This gathering was planned to honour the memory of a group member who recently died, but it took on further significance.
As communities, I just think we should all come together and support each other, at events like this and show solidarity. I think, within Doncaster, Sheffield, Rotherham, I think it's really important that the communities stand together against these people.
The picnic ended with a prayer for their friend and strength for all those affected this week.
We are part of this country. This is our country. This is where our homes are. This is where we've obviously been, brought up. So we're not going anywhere.
Arzu Dutta, BBC Look North, Doncaster.
So some powerful words there. Well, it's a challenging time for all diverse communities. Earlier I spoke to Dr. Kuldip Kaur Baj, from the Vice President of the Ramgarhia Gurdwara in Bradford. I asked her how the Sikh community there are feeling.
Generally, people are very traumatised with what they've been seeing. They're anxious and they're very worried. However, because Britain is their home, they have to navigate through these fears and carry on living and going their day-to-day business.
Are people reluctant to venture away from their homes?
Generally, I think there is a lot of support for vulnerable people. They are reluctant, but otherwise not.
We've seen an increased police presence on the streets. We've seen some really tough sentences being handed down very quickly through the criminal justice system this week. Are people more reassured by that action that's being taken?
Absolutely, and I think that also gives them confidence that this narrative is not everybody's narrative. It's a minority narrative, and majority are for immigrants.
How do you go about rebuilding sometimes fractured relationships between different sections of the community?
That's an interesting question, because when we look at cities and towns, they worked relentlessly to build relationships, and those relationships are very resilient. Therefore, they'll be more united. Circumstances like this will bring them together.
We're going into another weekend. The weather is expected to be warmer. Is there a feeling among the community that there is more potential, or do you think they are sufficiently confident the authorities have this situation under control now?
Well, we've been working with the authorities, and we know, that there is more effort being made to mitigate any such riots. However, people will remain alert and will communicate with each other to make them aware should anything explode.
And very briefly, have you had to take any extra additional security precautions?
Absolutely. We've been sending messages out to people to remain safe, and in particular looking after places of worship.
Okay, Kuldip, many thanks for coming in and sharing your experience with us today.
Thank you.
Next tonight, a 16-year-old boy who suffered severe mental health problems after witnessing domestic violence died by suicide, an inquest has ruled. Finn Hall, who lived in Keighley and Huddersfield, was also physically assaulted and told by a friend to kill himself. His mother says mental health services need to improve or more children may die. Kathy Killick takes up the story.
If I wasn't employed anywhere else, I was employed there.
Speaking in support of a youth club that had helped him, Finn Hall appears confident, bright and full of potential. But the teenager, who was trans, also had complex mental health problems, and in November 2022 took his own life. His mother feels Bradford Child Mental Health Services failed Finn. He was under their care, and he had told them he intended to kill himself.
I was just left with him and my other children. There was no support. It was deal with it. In fact, I was told 24-hour care, and if something happens, be it on your head. I did several times say that I wouldn't be able to give him the care he needed, but I was just brushed aside.
But at Finn's inquest at Bradford Coroner's Court, the Assistant Coroner, Angela Brocklehurst, recorded a verdict of suicide and said she was satisfied that Bradford District Care NHS Foundation Trust provided significant support on many occasions. The Trust has issued a statement saying, "We've made a number of improvements, including how we involve young people, families and carers in the assessment and treatment of their mental health needs, and specialist training for clinicians on assessing risks when children and young people are experiencing a mental health crisis."
Mainly, I don't want anybody else to struggle the way we did. I hope there's more support for parents. I hope that more suicide training is given.
Thanking Finn's family for attending the inquest, the coroner said, "No parent should have to see a child die. That is a tragedy. And I know it's a tragedy that will stay with you for many years." Finn's family say they're disappointed the coroner made no recommendations for further changes at the Trust and will continue a civil claim against the service. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Bradford.
Flights to the Middle East and North America could be operating from Leeds Bradford Airport within 3 years. The airport's chief executive says he's talking to airlines about potential long-haul destinations and growing passenger numbers from 4 million a year currently to around 7 million a year by 2030. But climate campaigners say extra passengers will lead to a huge increase in greenhouse gases. Here's our business correspondent, Spencer Stokes.
The unmistakable New York skyline, just one long-haul destination that by 2027 could be linked with direct flights from Leeds Bradford. The airport currently serves the European market, but the chief executive has his sights set on LBA being a global player.
North America, probably New York is probably number one, but New York, Boston, Chicago, Toronto would all be very high on our list. In terms of the Middle East, probably talking Jeddah, Dubai, Oman, Kuwait as potential destinations in the Middle East. I would be disappointed if by 2027 we were not having direct flights into both North America and the Middle East.
The long-haul flights plan is part of a wider strategy that sets out a target of 7 million passengers a year by 2030 and increasing the size of the current terminal. 2,000 airport jobs could be created. But climate campaigners say you can't have more flights without damaging the planet.
3 million more passengers a year means thousands more flights. And that would mean an increase in greenhouse gases because there simply is no alternative to using fossil fuels at large scale to get planes off the ground. That's why the Climate Change Committee has repeatedly said that we must not expand airports at this time.
New destination, 7 million passengers. That's going to mean a lot more carbon emissions, isn't it?
Increasing the level of flying is going to increase the carbon emissions. What's really important to remember is that the aviation industry is committed to being net zero carbon by 2050. So it's a temporary increase that then reduces over time.
Plans for a brand new airport building were dropped after running into opposition, but in the long term, LBA aims to construct a new terminal. The stopgap is a refurbishment and extension of the current building to handle passenger growth. But there are concerns about how a near doubling of passengers will impact on local roads.
The road network, the transportation network, all of the analysis has shown us so far that there is sufficient capability in the existing broader infrastructure to cope with that level of increase.
The plans have been backed by West Yorkshire's Mayor. Leeds City Council say they will liaise with the airport to obtain a planning application to facilitate expansion. Spencer Stokes, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Now, we've watched on from afar, haven't we, as our incredible Olympic athletes have represented Team GB in running, cycling and swimming. Not many have done all three, but Sam Dickinson from York, who trains in Leeds, managed to secure a bronze medal in the mixed gender team relay triathlon. From Paris to Leeds, Sam is here with us now. Sam, first of all, many congratulations. How are you feeling?
Thank you. Yeah, very good. Nice to be back home though.
What would you say the highlights of that winning, stepping up and getting the bronze, would that be the moment for you or actually crossing the line?
See, for me it was a tag to our fourth team member, so certainly standing on the podium and glancing to the side to the stands and seeing friends and family there was great.
You brought a little bit of the Eiffel Tower with you. If you could just show that to our camera one there, just look at that, and the piece in the middle, tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is part of the Eiffel Tower itself. Don't ask me where they got it from. I think it's still standing because there were quite a few medals.
And that's a fairly heavy object as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You couldn't have it round your neck for too long. What sort of support did you get out there? What was it like actually in France?
It was awesome, and Paris really stepped up for the games.
You've got.
It's a journey, it really is, and it started, you know, for me, London 2012. I went to watch, and from there going to school, clubs, and then going to university after that, all York, Leeds based.
Yeah.
That's where it really kicks on.
There must be an amazing camaraderie and team spirit within Team GB at the moment.
Yeah, there is, and success breeds success. So seeing Tom Pidcock win the gold in the mountain biking and having ridden with him in Leeds as well before, there's something special here for sure.
Brilliant. Well, it's lovely to meet you, Sam. Many congratulations. Oggy has just come, and that's a subtle hint that there's more sport to come.
Yes, there. Now, in case you hadn't noticed, there is Super League as usual this weekend and cricket, and tonight marks the start of the domestic football season again. Yay! Especially yay, I think you'll agree, in Chesterfield's case. Those promotion celebrations were worthwhile because tonight the Spirelites play back in the Football League. They host Swindon at 8 o'clock in their opening League 2 fixture. Barnsley start League 1 tonight at home to Mansfield. And back in the Championship now, Sheffield United kick off away at Preston tonight. And if you can't be there, I urge you with the brilliant BBC Radio Sheffield Sport, and I've never felt more in need of a gym membership than the night we had Sam Dickinson on the sofa with us.
Yeah, you and me both together, Oggy. Thank you. Now, finally tonight, pigeon racing is perhaps often associated with gents of a certain age. The ones who might be going to seed, I can't imagine who they're referring to, Oggy. But teenager Trent Lightfoot is ready to change all that, getting young people involved in the sport. This weekend, Bird, sponsored by his Facebook fans, will take part in a cross-country flight. Not for the first time in his life, Tom Ingle goes coup.
High in the West Yorkshire hills lives the Birdman of Todmorden.
Okay, do you want to show me round, Trent?
I will do, yeah.
I find the fact that these pigeons can fly from hundreds and hundreds of miles away, they can come straight through that trap and still want to come home every time you take them there.
It is extraordinary, isn't it?
It's like if someone came and picked you up, took you 200 miles away, you had to walk all your way back, took it next day, you wouldn't want to walk back, would you?
Well, you wouldn't see me again, would you?
Wouldn't see you again. What do you want? Come on then. Come on.
The smashingly monikered Trent Lightfoot is only 15. He's not only got the birds already eating out of his hand, but an audience too.
Good morning, boys and girls. We're just getting the pigeons ready for going to the race this Sunday.
Using social media, he's got a whole new generation flocking to pigeon fancying on Facebook.
They send a pigeon to us, a baby pigeon. You know, that's something people don't realise. These are only babies. Some of them are only 4 months old, 16 weeks old. That is then trained by us, and we just keep increasing the mileage until eventually we can go no further. Like on Sunday, as you know, we're going to hit the coast. We can't go any further than the coast, and that's that.
Trent's training. Can we endorse it? Well, his brood are certainly off to Dorset. 7 birds other young people have sponsored will race back from Purbeck this Sunday.
Worried is a bit of an understatement. I've got things rushing through my head. What ifs, what happens, but all of these pigeons have that chance and then they just fight their way home. Come on!
In our 2-mile test flight, they were all home in the beat of a wing.
At the end of the day, I'm well happy when they've all come home.
If he keeps causing this sort of flap, Trent will one day be the champion to knock everyone else off their perch. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Todmorden.
Yeah, good luck to Trent and the pigeons this weekend. Will it be good weather for pigeon racing?
I don't know what weather pigeons need.
They fly in all weathers, don't they?
They might need some suntan lotion on the beaks for Sunday. It looks very warm indeed. I'm not sure whether pigeons like that or not. He dropped me in it there, didn't he? It's been a windy day today. Malham Town here, you can see the water rippling. We had gusts in some spots, particularly hillier areas, over 40 miles an hour, and it has been really quite a blustery day. We can see a little bit of brightness just peeking through in City Square here, and we have seen a bit more in the way of breaks in that cloud as we've gone through the afternoon, but there was quite a lot of cloud this morning, and it even produced a little bit of light rain in places. You can keep your weather pictures coming into the Weather Watchers page, or we're on social media as well, Keely.Donovan on Instagram. So yes, we have got some warmth and some humidity on the way, but we'll have to wait to get tomorrow out of the way first. A lot of cloud in the forecast for tomorrow, the odd spot or two of light rain or drizzle in places as well. That's from that weather system here. And then we pull up air, draw air up from the Mediterranean. Humid, warm conditions for Sunday and Monday. And you've guessed it, we've got some thunderstorms on the cards for Monday before it freshens up a little bit for Tuesday. So the cloud has broken up a little bit more readily through this afternoon after quite a cloudy morning. So it's quite pleasant out there to end the day, and we'll have further clear spells through this evening. We'll hold on to some of those clear breaks, particularly in the east, but overnight we'll see areas of clouds spilling in from the west and may well produce a little bit of drizzle for the hills. A mild night, temperatures down to around 13 or 14 degrees. Before tomorrow's forecast, a quick look at the high water times, 8:30 in Filey and 8:05 in Whitby. So perhaps some early brightness tomorrow, but cloud is going to spread in from the west, thick enough to produce a little bit of patchy light rain or drizzle in places. But sunnier spells, brighter spells across North Yorkshire will gradually filter southwards through the afternoon. So an improvement through the afternoon. It should develop into a pleasant evening. Temperatures tomorrow are getting up to around 22 degrees. It'll be breezy, but not as windy as it has been today. And so it should develop into a pleasant evening with some spells of sunshine. That'll set us up for clear conditions into Sunday. On Sunday, plenty of sunshine, warm and humid conditions as well. Temperatures up to around 26 degrees. The risk of thundery showers into Monday.
That's what I like. A nice sunny weekend forecast on a Friday. Nothing finer.
Good.
Thank you for that,
my
Keely.
gift to you.
Thank you so much. We're all very grateful. I'll be back with a late bulletin at 10:30. But from all of us on the team, enjoy your weekend and thank you for watching. Good night.